Contestant number 8, John Szalay. Failing. Failing. John Szalay.
Yesterday, when I was getting ready for this contest, I had enormous writer's block. I was stuck. I had a blank yellow legal pad. A couple doodles on it, nothing else. What was I going to do? How could I stand up here for 3, 5, 7 minutes and talk about nothing? You can't talk about nothing for very long, because nothing is nothing. And then I thought to myself, what if? Who's going to start laughing? Who's going to be like, that guy's sad. Why is he even up here? Or even worse, pity. Don't be quick. Just keep your head down. Don't say anything about it. Or later on, one of the senior people would come up and maybe in a deep voice say, "This is what you should have done. This is how you could have been better. You could have made a better approach if you had done this or that." Kind of like the professor that lectures you in a way that you realize, I'm never going to be quite good enough. And that's when I had my aha moment. I stopped and I went, it's not that bad. I may fail. I may utterly fail. But I will learn from it. I will be better for it. And this happens all the time. I know the first time it happened to me when I was about 9 years old was going camping. Had a brand new sleeping bag, tent, went to the Army-Navy store, bought everything that I thought you needed to be out there. It's November in Texas, not too bad weather. But I forgot one thing. Rain. You don't know how to set up a tent right and it rains, you get a lot of water and a wet sleeping bag. And something else, one thing you shouldn't take in a sleeping bag or in the tent is a lot of Jolly Rancher candies, because then they start floating around. That was a hard one to explain to the Scoutmaster. But we found some dry ground, we got some sleep, and the next day we had fun. And each camping trip I was a little smarter. I realized I needed to prepare for rain. I needed to dig the trench, have the ground cloth. And I became a better camper. Similarly, I learned a lesson just last week. After the club, I went, let's do something new. Let's have a little happy hour right at Wurzbach Ice House, right around the corner. I'm even giving somebody directions of how to get there. So they're like, well, I'll just follow you. Sure, that's not too bad. It's 1 block away. So I turn out, I go 1 light, 2 lights, and I realize, I think I'm lost. So I pull into the parking lot, pull out the iPhone, do the little maps, tell the person that's following me, hey, I know it's right around the corner, we'll get back there. I thought, and that's the key. I learned from that as well, and they just laughed, and that's it, moved on. That's the great thing about failing and success. Similar to whenever you travel. I traveled all the time when I was a kid. When my mom, she was a great person to get you going. We had our passports, we had our luggage. We were there an hour and a half early, 2 hours early, way before TSA. So we just sit there being bored. Maybe you could sneak off and hang around the souvenir shop. But the first time I missed a flight myself, and what do? Went up to the gate attendant, they said, we'll get you on the next flight. Hey, it's not so bad. As a kid, I thought, oh my God, if I miss a flight, the world's going to end. But it happens every day. And failure happens every day, and people move on from it. Successful people have it happen to them all the time. Michael Jordan, he was cut from his high school basketball team. Famous example. Obviously now, we know him as the greatest basketball player ever. Abraham Lincoln. His first time he ran for office, he lost. Then he tried to start a business. He was trying to start a general store. It went bankrupt. Did that set him back? No. He learned from each of his mistakes. He became better. Obviously, he's up on Mount Rushmore, so I think he did okay. Well, Walt Disney, he was fired from his first job at a newspaper because the editor said he lacked ideas. I think he proved him wrong. And right now, in real life, we're seeing this go on. Probably everybody here saw the news about Carnival Cruise Lines. You saw the news, maybe you saw it on the internet about the sewage and the people sitting up there have no heat, no electricity, rotten food. Carnival Cruise is failing right now, but I think they will come out the other side. They will figure out how to make people better. Apple Computer figured this out. They fired Steve Jobs. They almost went bankrupt. And then someone realized, maybe we should hire Steve back. They're all the way back to the top. And you see this all the time. A drink that I like, some of you may go to a bar every once in a while, I know I have from time to time. Maker's Mark. They had a problem in their hands. They were selling too much whiskey. So their idea was, how do we sell more whiskey and make more money? Well, we'll dilute the product. We'll go from 45% proof down to 42 proof. Well, there was scorn, outrage. And that was just me. Maker's Mark realized their mistake. They changed their policy. They're probably just going to raise their price and keep the alcohol the same. And what was my aha moment? When I looked at the bottle of Coke on my desk. I don't know how many people remember New Coke, but that's one of the great fails of all time. They tried to change their They tried to change the flavor to match Pepsi and the Pepsi Challenge. They failed, and they learned from it. And that's the key. Yes, I failed, and what will I do next? Mr. Schultzmaster.